Hello, everybody. This is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, Part 1, Chapter 17. The next day, about 11 o'clock, Vronsky went to the station to meet his mother on the Petersburg train, and the first person whom he saw on the grand staircase was Oblonsky, who had come to welcome his sister. "Ah, your Excellency," cried Oblonsky. "Whom were you expecting?" "My Matushka," replied Vronsky, with a smile with which people always met Oblonsky. And, after shaking hands, they mounted the staircase side by side. "She was to come from Petersburg today. I waited for you till 2 o'clock this morning. Where'd you go after leaving the Shtcherbatskys'?" "Home," replied Vronsky. To tell the truth, I did not feel like going anywhere after such a pleasant evening at the Shtcherbatskys'. I know fiery horses by their brand, and young people who are in love by their eyes," said Stepan Arkadyevitch in the same dramatic tone in which he had spoken to Levin the evening before. Vronsky smiled, as much as to say that he did not deny it, but he hastened to change the conversation. "And whom have you come to meet?" he asked. "I? A very pretty woman," said Oblonsky. "Ah, indeed. On y soit qui mal y pense, my sister Anna." "Ah, Madame Karenina?" asked Vronsky. "Do you know her, then?" "It seems to me that I do. Or, no, truth is, I don't think I do," replied Vronsky, somewhat confused. The name Karenina brought to his mind a tiresome and affected person. "But Alexey Alexandrovitch, my celebrated brother-in-law, you must know him. Everybody in creation knows him. That is, I know him by reputation, but not by sight. I know that he is talented, learned, and something divine, but you know that he is not in my line," said Vronsky in English. "Yes, he's a remarkable man, somewhat conservative, but a famous man," replied Stepan Arkadyevitch. "A famous man." "Nu, so much the better for him," said Vronsky, smiling. "Ah, here you are," he cried, seeing his mother's old lackey. "This way," he added, stationing him at the door. Vronsky, besides experiencing the pleasure that everybody felt in seeing Stepan Arkadyevitch, had for some time especially liked being in his society, because, in a certain way, it brought him closer to Kitty. Therefore he took him by the arm and said gaily, "Nu, what do you say to giving the diva a supper Sunday?" "Certainly. I'll pay my share." "Ah, tell me, did you meet my friend Levin last evening?" "Yes, but he went away very early." "He's a famous fellow," said Oblonsky, "isn't he?" "I don't know why it is," replied Vronsky, "but all the Muscovites, present company excepted," he added jestingly, "have something sharp about them. They all seem to be high-strung, fiery-tempered, as though they all wanted to make you understand." "That is true enough, it is," replied Stepan Arkadyevitch, smiling pleasantly. "Is the train on time?" demanded Vronsky of an employee. "It will be here directly," replied the employee. The increasing bustle in the station, the coming and going of the artelshchiks, the appearances of policemen and officials, the arrival of expectant friends, all indicated the approach of the train. The morning was frosty, and through the steam workmen could be seen, dressed in their winter costumes, silently passing in their felt boots amid the network of rails. The whistle of the coming engine was already heard, and a monstrous object seemed to be advancing with a heavy rumble. "No," continued Stepan Arkadyevitch, who was anxious to inform Vronsky of Levin's intentions in regard to Kitty. "No, you are unjust towards my friend Levin. He's a very nervous man, and sometimes he can be disagreeable. But, on the other hand, he can be very charming. He's such an upright, genuine nature, true gold. Last evening there were special reasons why he should have been either very happy or very unhappy," continued Stepan Arkadyevitch with a significant smile, and entirely forgetting in his present sympathy for Vronsky his sympathy of the evening before for his old friend. Vronsky stopped short and asked point-blank, "Do you mean that he proposed yesterday evening to your belle-sœur?" "Possibly," replied Stepan Arkadyevitch. This disturbed me last evening. Yes, he went off so early and was in such bad spirits that it seemed to me as if he has been in love with her for so long, and I'm very angry with him. Ah, indeed, I thought that she might, however, have aspirations for a better match, said Vronsky, turning around and beginning to walk up and down. However, I don't know him, but this promises to be a painful situation. That's why so many men prefer to be faithful to their Claras. At least with these ladies there's no suspicion of any mercenary considerations. You stand on your own merits. But here's the train. The train was just rumbling into the station. The platform shook, and the locomotive, driving before it the steam condensed by the cold air, became visible. Slowly and rhythmically the connecting rod of the great wheels rose and fell. The engineer, well muffled and covered with frost, leaped to the platform. Next, the tender came the baggage car, still more violently shaking the platform. A dog in its cage was yelping piteously. Finally appeared the passenger cars, which jolted together as the train came to a stop. A youthful-looking and somewhat pretentiously elegant conductor slowly stepped down from the car and whistled, and behind him came the more impatient of the travelers, an officer of the guard with martial bearing, a small, smiling merchant with his gripsack, a moujik with his bundle slung over his shoulder. Vronsky, standing near Oblonsky, watched the sight and completely forgot his mother. What he had just heard about Kitty caused him emotion and joy. He involuntarily straightened himself. His eyes glistened. He felt that he had won a victory. "The Countess Vronskaya is in that coach," said the youthful-looking conductor, approaching him. These words awoke him from his reverie and brought his thoughts back to his mother and their approaching interview. Without ever having confessed as much to himself, he had no great respect for his mother, and he did not love her. But his education and the usages of the society in which he lived did not allow him to admit that there could be in his relations with her the slightest want of consideration. But the more he exaggerated the bare outside forms, the more he felt in his heart that he did not respect or love her.